The Beavis and Butthead revival is supposedly really good. I'm going to tell you right now, it is really good. I think the Beavis and Butthead revival, hot take, better than the original show. Never going to be as influential, never going to be as culturally relevant, but pound for pound, better show. Better writing, better jokes. The characters, I think, are better developed. I mean, I get that sort of being way underdeveloped was kind of like part of the gag for the original show, but it's kind of nice to see these characters kind of like pushed a little bit further without really compromising who they are. I do think that one complaint I do have about the new episodes is I do think that there's a little bit too much emphasis on Beavis and Butthead attempting get-rich-quick schemes. I'm not saying they never used to do that in the old show. They definitely did. But it seems like that's become way more of a thread. And I think it's probably because there are probably writers on that show that grew up watching Ed, Ed, and Eddie, which was those characters' motivation. So I think that some of that Ed, Ed, and Eddie shit has started to creep in to Beavis and Butthead in a way that I don't think it's totally uninvited, because like they're still doing funny shit with that premise, but I think that's been the plot of way too many episodes. So I kind of hope they tone that down a little bit. But that's really my only criticism, and that's a fairly minor criticism, is just like over-reliance on that sort of plot structure. That's valid, but the animation isn't as good. I think that really depends on what season of Beavis and Butthead you're talking about from the past, because Beavis and Butthead was really never a marvel of animation. I mean, I think that the animation now looks way more crisp, and, obviously that's because it's probably being primarily animated with computers at this point, whereas it was probably being animated a lot more by hand in the day. But I don't care. I think it looks good. It should be more about them trying to get pussy and being incels about it. Well, in fairness, when they try to get money, it's usually because they ultimately want pussy. They don't want money just for the sake of having money. They want money to get girls, which is very in character. Loving the guy who gets his beard pulled in Polar Express beard, TJ. I've never seen that movie. I saw a trailer for it, and I thought it looked like shit. And I guess it's become a holiday classic or whatever, but I still don't really have any urge to see it, so I don't know how accurate that comment is. Yeah, I have no urge to see it. I don't really like that Robert Zemeckis animation style. I didn't like I saw Beowulf. I guess I didn't hate the fucking thing, but I didn't really like how it was animated at all. Those movies are animated in such a way that they kind of defeat the purpose of animation. I don't know. Because, like, you sacrifice all of the cool stuff that only an animated character can do. Be over the top, exaggeratedly expressive, you know. They don't have that going on because they move pretty much like real people. It's motion capture. But they don't really look like real people either. So basically, you've gotten rid of all of the pros of animation, and you've gotten rid of all the pros of live action to come to some like weird middle ground that like has no charm to it whatsoever. I felt the same way about the Jim Carrey one, where he did his version of A Christmas Carol. That movie should have just been live action. I mean, there was no reason that it couldn't have been. It would have been probably at least 10 times better if it had been live action. You could have easily put Jim Carrey in that makeup. He would have done just as good a job, in fact, a better job. So, I don't know. I really don't understand what Robert Zemeckis, who's a great filmmaker. I really don't understand his obsession with that technology. I'm glad that it seems like it has subsided, but I don't know. The live-action Grinch is cringe, too. Yeah, it really is, but I'll give it this. At least it's way better than that shitty Illumination Grinch. You know? That version of the Grinch is terrible. And as much as I don't really like the live-action Grinch, I can still appreciate that Jim Carrey brought some insane energy to that performance, and that probably no one else could have acted through that much prosthesis and, you know, I don't know. I mean, he was covered from head to toe in prosthetic fucking body parts, and that shit's hard to act through. You know, you've seen other performers just get weighted down and destroyed by it. Like, remember when Mike Myers tried to play the Cat in the Hat? It was like he was just fucking, you could just tell he was just totally bogged down by the apparatus of that suit. You know? So I do fucking appreciate what Jim Carrey was able to accomplish. That being said, I do hate that movie. I mean, it's shot, like, the cinematography is horrible. Like, the character designs, I mean, the Grinch looks good. The Who's look like fucking shit. Whoville looks just like hideous and polluted and smoggy for some fucking reason. The script is terrible. That fucking little girl is terrible. She's just awful. Like, expanding the role of Cindy Lou Who to be like the co-star is fucking a dumb idea to begin with. Yeah, but Jim Carrey did a great job for what he, you know, for what that's worth. And I think that the only reason that movie is even baseline tolerable is because he did such a good job. Because it's like so much else was done fucking terribly. I don't think it had a particularly like good or funny script either. A lot of the good lines were from the Grinch, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the fucking laughs that actually landed were probably ad-libbed by Carrie. She grew up to be a rock star. I know, I saw her in concert. And, you know, you would never fucking know that chick could actually sing, because she actually sings a song in The Grinch called Where Are You Christmas? And it is horrid. It is so horrible. Where are you Christmas? Why can't I find you? If you're wondering why I know that song and the title and lyrics to it and shit, it's because I had a little sister that would watch that movie over and over and over again because she loved it. But yeah, to me, it's a piece of shit. What's her band called? The Pretty Reckless, I think. I don't remember when I saw them live. They were opening for someone else, but I saw them and they were pretty decent. I liked them all right. Yeah, well, that was what I was. The Benedict Cumberbatch one is the Illumination one. It's from Illumination Studios, who turn, you know, pretty much all their shit sucks. I don't think Illumination's made a good movie yet. Or maybe, didn't they do the Mario movie? That was all right. The Mario thing was okay. I mean, it was a fucking zero risks taken kind of total nostalgia fan service fucking movie, but for what it was fine. It was watchable enough. I sat through it. I was neither entertained. Like, I was entertained. I don't mean I wasn't entertained at all. I mean, I was never like, wow, this is great. It was kind of like the whole my reaction to the entirety of the Mario movie was like, huh, yeah, I remember that. Huh, yeah, okay. Then it was over. You know what I mean? That's my review of the Mario movie. Huh, yeah, okay. Except for that fucking banger from Jack Black. You know? That Peaches song he made. That shit was pretty tight. That needed to be way longer. That deserved to be a fucking 3 or 4 minute musical number. I think it was only like a minute and a half or something. The new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is good. Yeah, I liked it all right. I wanted to like it more than I ended up liking it. But I didn't hate it or anything. I don't know. I was actually watching the old Ninja Turtles cartoon last night because I was flipping through YouTube and I saw someone was live streaming the first season like over and over again. And I pretty much just sat there and watched the first season because it's like 6 episodes or something. And it's very nostalgic for me because I remember I had a little VHS tape when I was a kid that pretty much collected the same episodes. And I watched that shit, and that was pretty tight. It was still pretty entertaining. I mean, like, the writing obviously was pretty terrible, but there was still a lot of creativity, and like the characters are fun. Animation is actually much better than I thought it would be, because I've always kind of thought to myself that the animation, you know, in the intro is amazing, and then in the show they're kind of just almost static. But really, there was a lot of action in the show that was pretty well drawn. Now, there was some awkward animation too, but at least it had ambition. It wasn't just like they stood around talking all the time. They did some ninjutsu and shit, and it looked pretty fucking good. It was I mean, most shit that I see, honestly, that's kind of my review of. Most shit's I. You know, sometimes I'll see something that's fucking terrible. Sometimes I'll see something that's fucking great. But more often than not, what I see is just like, all right, you know, some things were done better than others. Some things were incompetent, but most of it was pretty competent. Maybe there was even a few little bright spots that fucking rose to the level of good. But overall, I like Captain Planet. We need more kids shows telling kids to bear up corporations. I think it's mean beat up. Well, the problem is that show never actually fucking gave kids a real idea about why pollution happens, you know? Because every fucking polluter in the show just seems to want to pollute for the sake of it. Like, man, you know, there's nothing more I love more than just dumping industrial waste. Yeah. Take that, fucking river. You know, I think it should have been a little bit more like, hey, you know, this is why this happens. I don't know. I guess it's kind of hard to get into all that in a fucking children's cartoon. But if you're going to make a fucking cartoon with an environmental message, you might as well fucking try to convey not just some nebulous sense of like, you could fight pollution, kids, just like Captain Planet. Like, you should teach them why pollution happens, you know? That it's driven by, like, greed. And that if they really want to see change, they need to advocate for, like, systemic change, not just, like, recycle your bottles, you know? We're the Planeteers. You can be one too, 'cause saving our planet is the thing to do. Looting and polluting is not the way. Hear what Captain Planet has to say. Destroy corporate America, kids! Capitalism intrinsically promotes this behavior, kids! Whoa. Holy shit, it does? No, instead he just says, the power is yours. More like, the responsibility is yours. The reason the planet's fucked up is not because of giant mega corporations and their wasteful, you know, pro-profit practices. It's all on you, kids. You didn't throw that plastic bottle in the recycling bin. You're the reason Mother Earth is dying. Fucking piece of shit. Oh no. The power is not mine. You lied to me, Captain Planet. You fucking eco-fascist. A modern Captain Planet where they destroy corporations would be amazing. I didn't really understand when I was watching that episode of Rick and Morty where, I forget what her name was, like Planetina or some shit. She's like a Captain Planet parody that starts fucking Morty for some reason. And and then she like decides like, man, this pap isn't saving the fucking planet. It's time for me to fucking really do something. And so she like starts like killing coal miners and shit. You know, they're like, fuck you, we're gonna destroy the planet anyway, because you're a fucking dumb bitch. And she's like, oh yeah, well, fucking die then. And then Morty's like, no, you've been corrupted. I was like, am I supposed to not agree with what she did there? Because, And then Morty being like, no. It's like, huh? You finally get a bitch? And this is how you act? Of Corporations are pretty much as cartoonishly evil as the cartoon, though. Maybe, but not for the sake of it. It's all for like the profit motive. You know, they want to make money. Who doesn't? Money's great. You know? Within the context of our society, money is the bee's knees. It's fucking it's the golden tit that gives the sweetest milk forever. I hate Rick and Morty out of spite because I had friends who are really annoying about it. That's understandable. Fans are definitely an annoying lot, you know. There's plenty of shows and movies and stuff that I reject even giving a shot because I don't like the fans. It's like, I don't like you people. Remember those motherfuckers that were like devotees of The Wire for a while? Motherfuckers just went around always sucking the dick of The Wire all the time. You always had to hear about how great The Wire is. Seems like they finally have died down. I haven't heard shit about The Wire in a while. Now that I've mentioned it, someone will fucking pop up. Ooh, The Wire! But you don't really see them organically too much anymore. You know? I'm glad about that. I was pretty sick about hearing about the genius of the fucking Wire. Well, Game of Thrones is different. Game of Thrones was a fucking bona fide phenomenon where everybody was fucking watching the damn thing. I'm talking about these shows that people feel like they need to proselytize. No one felt they needed to really proselytize Game of Thrones because they just assumed everyone else was fucking watching it. Because they pretty much were. But The Wire, because it was like a little bit more underground, I guess, didn't have quite, it wasn't like a national phenomenon. So, but everybody who liked it fucking had to preach it to you all the time, you know? TJ, I love the story about how you heard Rain is a Good Thing by Luke Bryan and were disgusted by it. Is that one where it's like, rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey, whiskey makes country girls get real frisky? Is that one? Because that song does suck a bunch of nuts. My daddy spent his life looking up at the sky. He'd cuss, kick the dust, saying, son, it's way too dry. It clouds up in the city, the weatherman complains, but where I come from, rain is a good thing. Rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey, whiskey makes my baby feel a little frisky. Back roads are bogging up, my buddies pile up in my truck, we hunt our honeys down, we take them into town, start washing all our worries down the drain, rain is a good thing. My God. What do you want to bet? This motherfucker does not live in some little fucking small town on a goddamn farm growing corn. What do you want to bet? This guy lives in a fucking mansion in a city somewhere. Luke Bryan house. Oh my God, what? I don't believe it. What? Oh my God, you guys. It's kind of cool. He actually does live in like a fucking modest little country house. I was fucking wrong. No, I'm just joking. This is one of his properties. This is his Florida house on the beach. On the beach. With a swimming pool on the beach. Oh, yeah. What else he got? Oh, yeah, let's see. This is another one of his houses. Where's this? 10,000 square feet, huh? An 1,800 square foot guest house. Wow. He's a simple kind of man. Won't you do this? His guest house is the size of my house. That I rent, by the way. That I don't even fucking own. That's cool. That's neat. What a fucking simple guy. Ain't nothing like a kiss out back in the barn. Wringing out our soaking clothes, riding out a thunderstorm. When the tin roof gets to... Oh, is that what you got? You got a tin roof on this? That doesn't look like a tin roof. Let's see, is there a tin roof on this one? No. It doesn't look all that much like a tin roof to me. Maybe your barn has a tin roof. Where's your barn? I'm not seeing a barn. Oh, here's one. Yeah, okay. I guess there is a barn. They got some goats. That's cute. So I guess that's what he's talking about. Being out in the barn. Making out in front of the fucking goats and shit. Small town values, I'll tell you what. Farmer Johnson does a little dance. Creeks on the rise, roll up your pants. Country girls, they want to cuddle. Kids out playing in the big mud puddle. Sure thing, bud. Sure fucking thing. Rain makes corn. Corn makes whiskey. Whiskey makes that dumb bitch get real frisky. Don't forget that Kid Rock is simultaneously from the country and from the hard streets of Detroit at the same time somehow. Oh, yeah. He's a hard man, dude. That's a hard motherfucker. TJ, what's the most comfortable position to sleep in? Face down in a big old jiggly ass right there. Perfect fucking place to be. Oh, yeah. No, I don't know. I've never figured out the comfortable sleep position. So I'm a tosser. I'm a turner. I'm a midnight burner. What if they fart? Well, that's why you got to fall asleep before that happens, you know? And then you just dream that, you know, you hit a skunk or something. Okay? Okay. Either that or you could put a butt plug in it so that, you know, they can't fart. It's all held in until morning. Right? Right. Amen. Amen. I honestly do not like, I don't like all that fucking bullshit. The shit Dat Senpai guy is saying the most comfortable sleep position is the cat to the left and a partner on the right. Fuck that. I like to spread out, you know? I mean, I love my animals and I love my partners and shit, but like, nah. I like to spread out. Actually, I do. I guess I do know my most comfortable position. It's when I'm spread out across the entire bed with no one else around me. And I can just be, yeah. And if someone else does show up, it's just to pet me for a minute. Like, oh, TJ, you're so wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. Wee. That's the ultimate for me.